edition of On the Road to Victory. Speaking to the air, why not? Let's go. It is the night before the draft, and well, I'm a little bit excited. Can't remember to unmute, but my dog wants to, of course, get rowdy, and well, he's got some hot takes for you on the table here. And ladies and gentlemen, it is the night before the draft, so you know what that means. It's time for the Eagles pick 10 prediction. That's right. We're going for another first round prediction. Can I do 5 years in a row? I'm guessing not. This was the most complicated year I've ever had. All the other years, I felt it was kind of simple pinpointing in what they were looking for. Here, I like the roster where it stands. I think you can, and the Eagles are going to stick to their board. They're going to take the best player available, regardless of what I say. But to me, this one is not so cut and dry, and I feel I'm torn. A minute before I got on the show, I'm like, do I want to switch it? Do I want to? Ooh, who am I going to pick? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're here tonight, and we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you, a little bit of information first. We're going to take a look at what the Eagles got here, and let's just start it off doing that. So, appreciate you all tuning in, but let's take a gander. Pick 10, 30, 60, 294, 219, and 248. But we talk about the 12 picks the next year because of those 4 comp picks we're going to get. Now, you can't trade any of those. We don't have them yet, but you've got 8 other picks that you can trade. You've got 8 picks the next year. So let's dance, baby. Ready to rock and roll here. So we've got a lot of picks. And if you've caught all those shows, we've talked about all the people I would love to see. We've talked about how we trading, doing all of these things where, yeah, I think we could acquire, up to 8 picks. I think we could trade and maybe only have 5 or 4 picks. I think anything is, possible with Howie Roseman as your GM. So a lot of excitement here, and rightfully so, because we've got lots of ammo here, and it's not just those draft picks. We've been talking about that cap space, and go check out those videos. But right here, you can see, we've got ourselves $18.699 million right now. But once it, if we were to stay still, we talk about those draft picks only going to cost about $4.5 million. But if you trade, maybe you're trading back, you're trading up, that money will change just a little bit. But again, you're going to have around $14 million to do whatever the hell you want. So let's dance, ladies and gentlemen. The Eagles can do a lot of things here. So going to be a heart-wrenching day tomorrow. I know a lot of people will probably be upset by whoever it is, because people just get that way. I myself try to go into this looking at a lot of players. And for me, there is a plethora of guys that I would be excited that if the Eagles drafted them, added this to the roster. But it just really depends on how this goes, where they take them. And I'm going to talk about that as we go through this stuff. But I'm going to give you some honorable mentions here first, but appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Justin, my man, appreciate you taking the time, dude. Hope you're having a great night. Yo, one in the hey-oh. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you tuning in, my man. Let's go, baby. Ready for the draft, Mark. Appreciate you taking the time, my dude. But look, I really think that this draft is going to be a fun one because we've got lots of ammo. We could trade for an already NFL player and a veteran, or, you could get more picks. You could trade up for a certain player. It's a lot of exciting stuff to be had here. So appreciate you guys all taking the time. But let's start this bad boy off here by looking at some of these guys that I just, my guys outside of round 1 that we've talked about throughout these shows. You guys hopefully caught all those. We went by position. Each one talked about where I thought the Eagles could be focused on that position in the draft, what the Eagles had at that position, and then the top 10 fits for those guys. So go check those videos out. But some of these guys, it was hard. I picked 10 on offense, 10 on defense here, and there's a lot of players that we talked about, and I probably left off some of the guys I really love. So that's fine. But we talk about, maybe you don't get a Bijan. Maybe you go for someone like Charbonnet or A-Chain. Maybe later in the rounds, you get a Mo Ibrahim. Kendre Miller adding into the return game. We've talked about a lot of talented guys, receivers like Tank Dell, Marvin Mims, Darius Davis, all help you in the return game as well. Darnell Washington, what he would do as a tight end too. Cody Malk, if you don't go offensive line in the first round. Braden Daniels, I think there's talent throughout this draft. Go check out those videos on all those positions. But then on the defensive side of the ball, another class where I feel you could get so much talent throughout, and some of these guys may go in the first round, but hey, if they fall, definitely try to go after them. We talked about, those interior D linemen, some edge rushers there. I think Will McDonald could definitely go in the first. I love that kid. Talked about Foskey. Trenton Simpson, Julius Brents, Sidney Brown, and Christopher Smith. So a lot of guys that I think, I would be excited about. And that list, I had like 50 guys. I'm like, dude, how am I going to pick who I want to be my guys? Because I like so many of these players. And that's how I try to go into this thing. I try not to, get singular with it. Like, it has to be this guy or I'm going to be pissed because, dude, it's the draft. And the Eagles are going always, as much as I, can get first round picks, right? It's still a crapshoot, man. And it's like, look, I think, this team, they have an idea at times, but they also go off the wall sometimes. And I'm like, what are you doing? So it's very questionable as to what's going to go down here. But for me, very exciting times. So not just that first day, I'm excited for this whole damn thing. So let's get it going. Now, going to give you some honorable mentions here. These are going to be clearly guys that I do not have at 10, but maybe we get them at 30, or maybe we trade up for some of these guys. But a lot of talent here, a lot of talented players here. Myles Murphy and Smith are talented as well. Yo, my man, Twisted in the building. Appreciate you tuning in as well. But let's take a look at these guys that are honorable mentions, and then I'll jump into my top guys. And what I told you I would do the last week here, I'm going to look at the top 10 dudes that I think would be at that pick. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to break it down my top 5. I'll go through the list, and then you guys can continue to tell me who you think number 1 is going to be on my list, who you think pick 10 will be for the Philadelphia Eagles. But these guys will clearly not be on that list. And I think they could definitely, we could trade up for them, do something like that. Now, I know a lot of people, talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba. And look, rightfully so, he's a talented kid, but we talked about him during the receivers. I don't think that we need to go in the first round at receiver. Again, we traded for one 2 years ago, or I'm sorry, we traded for one last year. We drafted one 2 years ago. I think that, and obviously we missed on one. We'll just leave that at that. But I think, we'll talk about where we could go. But you've got some guys here like Torrance, Wright, Van Ness, Bressie, Deonte Banks, Forbes, Porter, and Branch. And I think that any of these guys, if you're in the 30 range and someone has fallen, or maybe you want to trade up a little bit, some of that ammo you have in the next couple of years, I would not be against it. And I'm just going to give you my pick 30 as a little cherry on top. So here you go. Give me some Brian Branch. And you guys heard me talk about him during the safeties. You've heard me talk about him the last couple of months, but extensively last week. And then we talked about the mock draft yesterday. Had him on a couple. Look, I'll be real with you. This kid, we talk about what Sean Desai, what kind of defense he's going to be run. Yes, a lot of Vic Fangio principles, concepts, schemes, but also Nick Saban and that Alabama quarters defense. So getting a defensive back that played a lot of nickel, but can play that hybrid safety that we're going to need in this defense, I think that kid would be perfect around that range if he falls there. If not, maybe you have to trade up a little because he's really talented. And I think that kid could definitely go pretty high. So, we'll see. But now, as I said, what I'm going to do here is show you the 10 guys, and you can decide as you see this list who you think I have as number 1. But then I'm going to go through, we're going to count them down, baby. And I'm already antsy about it because, dude, I was very torn as to 1 and 2, man. But what is going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in. But we're going to be having a lot of fun here. I cannot wait for all the rumors to stop. Can't wait to see the draft actually happen. I am very excited, and Emmanuel Forbes is a stud. We talked about him during the corners. Oh, yeah, don't care. They talk about, too undersized. No, dude, the kid plays tough as hell. He's a ball hawk. I would love to have him on this defense. And look, man, it doesn't matter if we already have corners. We need to get some for the future as well. So I'm a big fan myself. And, look, my source told me that Derrick Henry is not happening. That was just something that guy made up. But look, you're going to hear a lot of things. And thank God it all stops tomorrow because, woo, is it rough each year. And it's always funny for me when I'll say something and someone will comment like, well, you got to listen to the experts. It's like, well, if they start getting things right and they start predicting who the Eagles take, maybe I'll take what they say seriously. But they're always making stuff up just to try to get clicks each year. And it's pretty rough. But my man, George in the building, Gary has not handed me. Actually, yes, he has. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that stuff. But, Gare, you guys have no idea what we're talking about. But a nice little Twitter joke that always just seems to pop up. But, dude, I'm going to let you know some of the things I have heard from some of the sources I've got. And we're going to break down these guys here. So let's get it rocking and rolling. And look, I appreciate each and every one of you. Goldie in the building. Let's go. DMV Live, appreciate you. Yo, appreciate you, Luffy. Yo, Philly Talk in the building, my dude. Hope you're doing well, my brother. Look, we're going to break this damn thing down. And look, my heart is pounding even waiting for who I'm going to pick. And I already know who it is. And it sucks because I'm torn either way. I'm telling you guys, I really am. But appreciate you tuning in. If you guys aren't checking out the Philly Talk podcast, get your asses out there and check my dude out. But appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Look, I'm going to be breaking this stuff down throughout the draft, but love to, try to get you back on the show, try to talk some birds, and let's talk about this damn draft. I am so effing ready. But, that's what's so fun about this. Howie, everybody always says what they're going to do. And when I talked about trading up for Jordan Davis and then trading for A.J. Brown last year, I'm telling you, did not have the script. It's just, you got to know that this team is trying to build a championship contender. So just keep in mind, all of these things are possible through the Lord Jesus Christ. Jot that down. But what is going on, my man, Sean? Appreciate you tuning in. Drew, my dude, let's effing go. You guys getting in here just in time. Let's ride. Pass rushers. Travis, my man, once more. Pass rushers. One in the wheel. Once a little bit of Bijan mustard on top of that. Let's ride. Excited to hear it. Let's go. Appreciate you. And my man, if you guys aren't checking out the Philly Talk podcast, then you're just drifting out to sea. My man Mike is killing it out there, and was lucky enough to have him on the show a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully you guys were able to check that out. Appreciate each and every one of you who tuned into that. But look, hopefully going to have you back on throughout this off season, because going to be some exciting times. Would be more exciting if this computer didn't make me want to throw it through a wall. But I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time tuning in here tonight. Let's rock and roll. Let's take a look at this. And we've got people throwing out their lists. Love to see it. Yo, my man BMO in the building. Love to see that as well. So let's take a gander. Now, what I'm showing you first is a list of 10. And you can decide for yourself who I am going to pick for my number one pick. Now, clearly, there's going to be a couple guys that we all feel, and I didn't put them in any specific order other than in offense through defense. So, a couple linemen, got a running back there that you all know about, defensive linemen, couple edge rushers, and then some corners. And my thought process will be told throughout these picks, and then we'll come back to it, and I'll tell you why some of these guys were not on my list. So, let's rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to count it down from 5. I'm going to tell you why I don't have them as my pick, but I do like them, obviously. So Nolan Smith, huge fan of his. And having him here at 5 is wild to me, because I would be thoroughly excited to have him on this roster. We talk about a perfect, literally, he is a clone of Hassan Reddick, somebody that could learn under him, also could play opposite of him as a weak side linebacker in certain packages. I think the sky is the limit for this young man. Do not care about stats. Do not care about, numbers, but I show these things to you because I know you guys love it. So look, I think the kid's super talented. Would love to have him, but not sure that it's 10 we're taking him. Maybe if he's fallen a little bit, you're at 30, you want to trade up. Oh, hell yes. Give me some Nolan Smith. I'm a big fan of the young man, but I do not have him, ladies and gentlemen, as pick number 10 this season. Now, up number 4. This guy was literally number 1 for me a couple weeks ago. You guys heard me talking about him when we were talking offensive linemen. Oh, yeah, Paris Johnson Jr. Now, George was just asking me, did old Gary, the old source from down below, did he tell me anything? Well, he sure did. And he told me that Paris Johnson, there's questions about his work ethic. I do not like to hear that any way, shape, or form, but I do love his play. I do love the kid, and I do think he is still a very high possibility that the Eagles go offensive line with that number 10 pick. So Paris Johnson, he makes the list at number 4, and I think I would be excited because we talk about, his versatility, what he brings to the table, and to me, a guy that clearly could start at right guard. If, he could compete with Cam Jurgens, Sua Opeta, Jack Driscoll, that'd be great. Bring competition. Iron sharpens iron. But then when Lane retires 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is, this kid takes over. Now, clearly, like, why are you taking a first-round pick if he's going to be a backup? But he doesn't have to be a backup to start out, and super talented kid. So I like Paris Johnson, but he did not make my pick for number 10. Now, number 3, this is twisted here, man, because look, you saw the list of 10 guys I was choosing from, my final 10, and even that 10 was changing so many times. I'm like, all right, dude, just stick with your top 5 and let's go from there, because I'm going to change my mind as soon as I'm done the show. So that's just how it goes up here. It's just a whirlwind at all times. But dude, it's an interesting thought process I try to put into it, but you guys are going to have to let me know how you feel about it. But Goldie, I appreciate you tuning in. Love to see the love being shared in here. But yo, my man Mike, I'm ready to give it to you. We're here. We're ready for number 3. And this dude, this process in my mind is how he's ready to ride, man. And he's ready to make a move. So he's going to trade up. This guy is falling. We're sitting there. We've seen the first 5 picks. We know now we're in a better position. Maybe we move up to 6. Maybe we only have to go to 8. But I'm feeling frisky here. But I think this guy, Gary does not. And Gary told me very strongly that he did not like that. But I tried not to let it alter. So I still let him in here. But he's not my pick. That definitely helped him not make it on this list. But number 3, Tyree Wilson. Yeah, that's right. I know this is a little curveball here. No, it's not Lucas Van Ness. No, it's not Will McDonald. I do like him a lot, but Tyree effing Wilson. This dude is a stud. And we talked about him during the edge rushers. You want to talk about a freak of nature, 6'6", 271. This guy, I honestly feel he's got the skill set where you could even use him a little bit as a 5 tech. You could move him all around, but he could also be that perfect backup. You talk about Nolan Smith being able to back up Reddick, being able to play opposite of him. Yeah, Tyree Wilson could do the same thing. You can do a lot of effing things with Tyree Wilson. You can make magic happen. So my thought process was maybe, some people are falling. Some other people are, being taken here. Don't want to say any names because I don't want to give away who my pick is, but I'm thinking, hey, maybe we feel a little froggy and take a leap and grab ourselves some Tyree Wilson. But that's not my pick either, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. Now you're going to be able to pretty much pinpoint this bad boy. But let's be real here. This is one of the most complicated things for me to do because, I like to be a realist here and try to, think of how he does. That's how I'm able to pinpoint these picks the last few years. But this year, it's like, well, look, dude, yeah, you always want to focus on the trenches. But if you look at, the history of how the Eagles pick, it's not just the trenches. And yeah, we do take edge rushers and offensive linemen all the time. But you look at taking skill positions, a lot of the time wide receivers. Now, 2018, I think it was, right? Goddard was the first pick in the 2nd round. But there are skill position people that are taken, right? So you got to keep that in mind. But they do love them some linemen, right? Now, defensive linemen, you're probably thinking the Eagles are looking there because, well, they just lost Javon Hargrave. And, Fletcher Cox getting a little bit older. But they did just draft Jordan Davis. And they've also got themselves Milton Williams. Marlon T will be back from injury. So it's a toss-up, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm telling you, a minute before this effing show, I was like, do I want to switch it? Do I want to change my mind? Do I want to go against what I'm thinking? But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. And I know this is going to upset some of you, going to excite some of the rest of you. But here let's just give you, number 2 here, and then I'll just get right to number 1. Number 2 is Bijan Robinson, ladies and gentlemen. Now, hear me out before you get pissed off at me. I love the kid. I think he's super talented, and I want the Eagles to draft him. I would love the Eagles to take him. I don't know they want to do that at 10. Look, I've heard, you don't want to take a guy at 10 because in a couple years you have to pay him. Look, you want to play good players, and if he's an effing, game breaker, game changer, then yeah, keep him around and pay him. But, running backs get ran into the dirt. I've talked about Charbonnet, talked about A-Chain, talked about guys even like Mo Ibrahim later in the drafts that you add to this room with Kenny Gainwell. You talk about Rashad Penny staying healthy. Maybe Trey Sermon comes alive here. You have Boston Scott back behind this offensive line. I don't know that they necessarily feel they have to get him. But in my mind, dude, you could, and hear me out here in a second, but I love Bijan Robinson, and I would literally, I'll freak out if we get him. So would love to have him. But my number one pick, my pick at number 10 for the Philadelphia Eagles in tomorrow's 2023 NFL draft is Jalen Carter out of Georgia. That's right. And, people are going to tell you, well, he doesn't have the stats. Well, this, that, the other. Let me tell you something. Oh, he had some off the field issues. Okay. First off, in Georgia, stats don't really mean too much to me. You have to take all that stuff with a grain of salt. We talk about that. The off the field stuff, yes, that is very concerning. Don't want to see stuff like that. I feel very unfortunate for the people that, passed away, all the things that happened there. But this young man, he needs to use that as a learning lesson. I'm not here to judge someone and tell them they can't learn because, especially, thinking of what I was doing at that age, yeah, at least he's heading in the right direction. They were drag racing. No one meant to kill anyone. So it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. But, you're hopeful that he gets, the help he needs, the work he needs to do on himself. He does it. And if he comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, he's got two of his best friends here. That'll be huge for him. But he's got Jalen Hurts, who is a leader of men. And I think that when you come to this roster, it just changes for everyone. So I think this young man will be under great guidance. You've got Jeffrey Lurie, who has enabled this entire staff to do great things for all the players, ensure that you guys have help off the field. So on the field, everything, man, I think that this kid, there's no concern for me because you talk about what he would do. Adding him, as much as I love edge rusher, maybe, you're at 30 now and you're like, dude, let's ride. I'm going to take that second from next year. I'm going to take our third round pick this year. I'm going to package up something else too, maybe a third the next year, and we're going to move up. Bijan Robinson has fallen, and we're going to take him at 16, at 18. Something like that happens, I'll jump through the effing roof. Or maybe they trade up and get Nolan Smith. So now you've got the entire effing Georgia defense as the Eagles defense. Or maybe they get Tyree Wilson and, Jalen Carter isn't there. There's a lot of options. And if Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson, all these guys are off the board, take Bijan Robinson. Do not question, he's a first rounder. I don't care. I honestly don't care. Go take him. But if you have, and I'm not sure that Jalen Carter's at 10, but having that bad pro day, being out of shape, looking sloppy, that's concerning to me as well. But I know what he plays like. I know what he looks like. And I know with the right coaching and I know with the right players and people around him, great things will come for this young man. And you talk about being next to Jordan Davis. You talk about Milton Williams and Marlon Tuipulotu, what kind of rotation that is for the future. Then you feel much more comfortable outside. And then you nab someone like a Will McDonald or whatever at 30, and you add them to the rotation, and you still got Reddick, Sweat, Graham. Nobody's gone there. Robert Quinn left. Oh, geez. But Derek Barnett will be back from injury, but he'll be third and, behind Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham. And then on the other side, you've got Reddick, Johnson, and Johnson. So if you want to add someone, yeah. But I think if you add to the interior, we all know how important it is. The pass rush, getting to the quarterback, stopping the run, things like that. He can do all those things. The dude is a game changer. And it's not so often that you come around and get a pick like 10. Now, it's also not so often that a guy like Bijan Robinson comes around. So, dude, again, if they take him, I'm not going to be, I see people, you don't take right, there's no law, there's no written, you have to do this. Sure, there is some guidelines you kind of feel like you have to, stay within the lines a little bit. But, bro, that does not mean this team isn't like, holy shit, if we put Bijan Robinson with this offense. Now, again, I've said it, Charbonnet, A-Chain, I think a lot of those guys could do things in this offense. I think Kenny G and Penny will do those things. But for me, you're going to add some things, and I think we'll be just fine. But, my man, appreciate that, Mike, for the super chat. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Get him at 10 or trade up. That's a great question there. Look, I think for me, you're looking at this, draft. There are so many ways it could go. You hear sometimes, there are 4 quarterbacks. I don't know all about that. If certain teams feel a lot of, a certain way about Will Levis, go ahead, man. But look, very intriguing. But I think I was making a joke yesterday, Mike, about how It's probably Howie out there like, all right, it gave you a free month's, supply of Chick-fil-A free every day. Just making sure he has a horrible pro day. Everyone's like, we're going to let him drop. I'm good. Because this dude, he's top 3 talent, if not the top. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, bro. So we might have to trade up. We might have to, but I think Howie is feeling froggy and he's got the ammo. We have ourselves 26 picks total. Now, you can only trade 22 of those right now because 4 of those being comp picks next year, but you've got the ammo. We talk about having, even after you're signing draft picks, you're going to have around 14 mil. So we could be adding players. So imagine like last year when we're like, remember it was like, oh, we got to add a receiver here. We take a nose tackle and then they don't even have a chance to breathe because I was so excited about Jordan Davis. But then we trade for A.J. Brown. It was just like, oh, my God. So just expect the unexpected. And I think that let's go. So Hercules, hope you all enjoyed it. Please let me know how you feel about it. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. But appreciate you, my man Twisted. Kendre Miller, he was one of the guys on my guys list there, and love him, especially, bringing that return capability, something I feel we need added to this roster. So let's effing go, Mark. Let's go, baby. Love to see it. A lot of you guys are on board with that. A lot of people on board with Bijan, but do not get me twisted. I'm right here in the middle with both of you guys. I love both these players, and one's going to make the defense super unstoppable. The other would make the offense just a video game, which my fan side wants me to be like, I don't give a shit about 5 years from now. I want to win Super Bowls right now. So if you get me running back that takes the heat off, and you've got Kenny G and Sermon and Penny there all backing him up, bro, yeah. I'd lose my mind. I would definitely. So don't get me wrong. I just couldn't change Jalen. Jalen's been one of my number 1 guys for months now. You guys know how much I love him. Was very unfortunate to see all that stuff happening. But I think for me, I really like, a lot of those guys in my top 10 there. Now, even in picking those 5 to show you there, it was like, punch me in the face. But dude, he is really a stud. I love that dude, and would love to see him in the Philadelphia Eagles green. But let's go, baby. Skoronski was there in my top 10, but he did not make my final 5. And you guys remember, I made a joke a few months ago. I was like, future Philadelphia Eagle, Peter Skoronski, because look, don't be surprised if the Eagles look offensive line. And if at pick 30, they go for someone like an Osiris Torrance, Darnell Wright falls. Let's go. I'm all about it. But Skoronski, that's another one. George, Gary told me, I heard a little whisper there that Jeff Stoutland does not like Skoronski. So that for me, I was like, well, he's definitely not making my top 5, dude. So yeah, he and Paris got a little bill of, we might not take offensive line. So that made me feel a little bit better. So you heard it here first, but might look pretty good for those of you who want Jalen Carter or Bijan Robinson. Now I've mentioned it a million times. You cannot look at stats. I show you that kind of stuff, but I try to break down their game and explain who they are due to the fact that you take that stuff with a grain of salt for a reason. It means absolutely nothing, especially when you're looking at teams that are stacked with people or, the way their defense works. They're not going to be getting super stats there. So all about it though, but hopefully answered your question there. I think, yes, it did. Look, I think we trade up, my man. Appreciate that super chat though. And it might only have to be to 8, but we got to be worried there at 9, those damn Bears. But if he falls, that would be a blessing. But honestly, that's where I was torn, Mike. And to the rest of you, I think what got me was, well, what if we're just like, screw it, dude? Why trade away our resources? There's a lot of guys we like. So it really depends on how it plays out. But if you're just like, screw it, let's take Bijan, best player available. Let's ride. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. Out getting over Lucas Van Ness. Never mind, Danny. Oh, whoa. Yo, look, I think Skoronski, he's a decent player, but hearing that, for me, it was like, oh, whoa. And this is, you guys know, my source is right there with them. So when I hear stuff like that, especially when they work thoroughly with the offensive lineman, that scares the living shit out of me. But there were some other guys we talked about, and I've already mentioned those people to you. So go check out that offensive lineman video. So a lot of exciting guys. And I think the Eagles will be just fine figuring out what they do on the line in the future, whether they go at 10 or not. So they don't have to. I know a lot of people feel, they surprised they would do that. Some people are like, oh, they have to do that. And it's like, look, man, they don't have to do anything. They're going to take the best player available. And look, again, that's what Mike was asking. I think that they're going to have to probably trade up a little bit. So if he falls, it's who falls, right? If Tyree Wilson falls, now the reason Jalen Carter falls is because for me, all of those things that happen, he's the one that has the best possibility for the Eagles to be like, holy shit, he's there. Let's trade up. Let's nab him. Let's ride. But if he's gone, things are happening. Dude, Bijan Robinson's there. Yeah. I'm all about it, man. I'd take any of those guys in my top 10. I mean, those honorable mentions, I think if we make a move for them to trade back or, you trade up if the people, trade back if the guys are gone that you don't like, you trade up if there's someone that's still there that you thought wouldn't be there at a certain spot. So a lot of interesting things I think are going to go down tomorrow. So yeah, we're in a great spot. And that's why when I talked about, I don't care. I'm pissed we lost that last game. But I still feel that we are building something special here for the future. And I think that, once people see how this roster is built in a couple months from now, because remember last year, not only were we drafting at this moment, but we traded for AJ Brown. And then after the draft, we traded for CJ Gardner-Johnson. So look, the roster building doesn't stop, and I will keep you up to date with all that stuff. As soon as the draft is over, I'm going to have how can we create space? How much does the draft picks actually affect? Did we actually pick at those spots? Did the numbers change? I'll keep you up to date with which free agents are still left out there. Everything you will need to know, I'll get you through, but we're going to celebrate this draft throughout the weekend. And I had said something yesterday to you guys about like maybe going live. I know you guys asked me to do that a lot, and I can't do that during games, but maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know how many of you would actually watch that, me just tuning in to talk to you, but I did think about, what I always do each year is just right after the pick, I jump on and then I break down what's going on. But maybe this year what I'll do is I'll jump on like right before the pick or something. I don't know. You guys let me know what you want to do, but I'll try to make a little video. Let me know what you're doing for the draft. Are you even going to be watching anything? Because I had an opportunity to go to the stadium, but just had some things going on this weekend. Not going to be able to happen. But look, I think, I'm going to be tuned in regardless, so it doesn't matter. But look, don't think your top three will be there at 10. Look, I think Bijan will definitely be there at 10, so I would take him if those other guys are not. But that's why I said you would have to trade up for those other two. Yeah, oh, what a terrible pick that was. That dude, he just didn't want to play, man. He just had nothing to him, man. He was like 27, yeah, and it was like, hey, maybe 28. You might be right. He literally, the dude had no fire in him. No pun intended. Yeah, it was. That dude, he sucked. He really did. So let's not make that mistake again. But yeah, man, he was like 26, 27. Dude was old. Somewhere in that range. I don't know, but he was older for sure. No, he was not 24, 25. I'm thinking the 27-ish range. But yeah, I was like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So ready for it, Steve. Let's go. I'm ready to run through walls. And I'm going to be quite excited no matter what happens tomorrow because I know it's going to be a damn good pick because there's a lot of effing talent. Now, don't be pissed if we trade that 10th pick and they're like, well, the Eagles have traded back to 16 or if we just bounce. I mean, these dudes, we've got the 30th pick. We could do so many different things. Do not think that, we can't be working magic here. So if they trade back, don't think that they couldn't trade back up if there's somebody that falls or whatever the hell they're trying to do here, man. Howie's a wizard, man. Not a prediction at 10. That was the prediction at 10, right there. 24 hours. Let's ride, baby. Hoping these people pick very quickly because I'm going to be having a heart attack. But told my girlfriend, I was like, I'm going to be locked in from the second it starts because you never know if Howie's trying to trade up. So I will be prepared. Do you think it's possible that Howie moves that choice? Yes, I was just mentioning that, my man Mark. Not sure when you asked that, but yeah, dude, Howie is a very aggressive man, and we were this close last year. So, hey, without the refs, slopping up the grounds crew slopping up the field, the refs not giving Jalen a chance. Hey, we got to just go out and crush these dudes. So, appreciate you, my man, Justin. If you guys are getting anything out of this show, do me a favor, hit that like button. You can always subscribe down below. We'll be breaking all this stuff down. Whoever we pick, I'll be breaking that guy down. We'll be talking about all the things we need to know about him. Hopefully, we've already talked about these guys because a lot of talented people. But even if it's not, there could be so many. I told you, even when I was picking top 10 best fits at each position, I was like, dude, I could have picked 20 at some of these. So appreciate you tuning in, Ware. Hope you're having yourself a great night. Hope you're ready for this draft tomorrow. I'm ready to run through an effing wall. So your guy pretty much is saying Carter and Bijan are the top two guys. Well, what he told me, if you guys have been tuning in, you remember about a month ago, they loved Bijan. They loved Jalen Carter. They loved Skoronski. They were baffled by Paris Johnson not being talked about. And now some things have obviously changed. But this little birdie told me if Stoutland does not like this guy, dude, I cannot feel very strongly. But maybe they're like, hey, we can work on him. So maybe it's just throwing people off. I don't know. But they heard it and they told it to me. So to me, they've always been my top two, but they did not feel as strongly about Bijan as I do, and also not as strongly about Jalen Carter as I do. Now, some of the guys I left off, Will Anderson, that was somebody, if you're going to try to trade up, you could take him, and he has Jalen Hurts' nickname that I gave him, the Terminator, but this dude really is the Terminator. He is a stud. I would not mind trading up for him either, but I'm not sure how far he falls, but if someone like the Seahawks feels that Tyree Wilson maybe fits a little bit better to their system, maybe they take him. And then you're like, oh my God, we have to trade up for Will Anderson. So, and the things I'm hearing from two different people are two different things. And some people like Bijan, some don't, some like Carter. And it's I hear all kinds of different stuff. And I tell you what I can, but for me, man, I think it's going to be an exciting pick regardless. I think the Eagles like the people that we want them to like. If Jeff don't like him, yeah, man, that's how I was like, oh, dude, what? Because here, you guys remember when I talk about Skoronski, I had Paris Johnson over him because, look, he did good at tackle at times. I've seen him get ran over at times, but he's never really played guard, and we're just, we're gonna plug him in a guard, it'll be fine. Like, look, okay, Jeff Stoutland's the man, and I'm sure he would be, but Paris Johnson's actually had work at guard, and I think he'd be just fine in there. But that is what it is. But look, we'll see how the kid does. Yo, my man Anthony, appreciate you tuning in, dude. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. I'm going to get rolling out here in a few minutes, so get your final thoughts in. Let me know how you're feeling about it. How do you feel about me taking Jalen Carter for the Eagles at pick 10? And Jalen Carter's a stud. If he's gone, if we can't trade up and get him, if we can't trade up and get Tyree Wilson, man, Bijan Robinson all the way, baby. I'm all about it, baby. Go ahead, get him. Get him. Get me some Bijan Robinson. I'm not against it any way, shape, or form. Let's just find out what number he's wearing because clearly it ain't going to be 5. So let's go. But I would love to have him. That's why he was on that list. What is the word on Van Ness? Look, the kid's super talented. He can play all over the line. So the Eagles do like him, but I don't think that's the pick at 10. I have him in there with that list, but for me, that's not one of my, nope, just didn't want to put him there. I like the kid. I think if you're trading back, like a lot of people are gone, maybe, and I know a lot of people for some reason don't like him, but he's very versatile. He can play inside, outside, edge rush, do a lot of things, and I think he's still very raw. Only a couple years under his belt. Sky's the limit for that kid, but we'll see. Get another 2 this year. Get Bijan, second round picks. Get Campbell, Antonio Johnson, third. Well, that's why I talked about that, man. You could trade back for Bijan at 12, 14, 16. You could try to see how the draft is playing out. You could acquire a 4th, 5th, 6th that we don't have this year. A lot of things are possible here with Howie Roseman. So in Howie, we trust. But look, you're going to hear all kinds of crazy stuff. And look, if they want to take Bijan Robinson, they're just going to probably ruin him. But it's funny to see all the rumors, and people are trying to get rumors out as much as they can because it's the day before. So they want people to take. You're usually hearing things that aren't going to happen because they want people to be thrown off so that the people take that person and they don't take who the person actually wants. So you guys saw me make a tweet about that if you follow me on Twitter last week. And obviously I say it all the time, but, be wary of what's being told to you because a lot of times it's curveballs, baby. So, hey, it is what it is. But look, tomorrow I'm going to, as I had said, Tiffany, I don't know how I want to do this. I think I might go live in the first round, maybe just hang out with you guys. I'll be chilling here at my house. I can't show it and I can't have my volume on. So I guess you guys just watch me watch it and then we talk about it. I guess, I don't know. I've never really done that, but a lot of you have asked me if I'm going to do that again this year. And I think I'm going to try, man. So we'll give it a shot at least to, get the reaction together of who we're picking. Get excited. Let's ride, So we shall see, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to be here. We're going to be talking about the pick. And if not, it'll be right after the pick is made. I will have a show for you talking about that person. So that's going to be a tough situation. It really, who do you think is going to want to take him? And I think, maybe get back to 16 and still take him. So it really, how frisky are you feeling? So if you like him, take him where you're at. But if you feel like you've talked to the other teams and you can move back, do it. That guy sucks. But he does kind of remind me of Jerome Brown's game. And Jerome Brown, what a horrible loss, man. Just a terrible loss because a great person, but a great football player as well. But man, it's a terrible person making a great comparison. Hate to see that. But am I streaming the draft? I was talking about that. I can't show you the draft, but we can talk about what's going on. I can maybe have a little ticker at the bottom showing you guys who was picked. And that's actually, I don't mind that idea. So maybe we'll do something like that. I don't know if you guys, I know a lot of you guys asked me, but it's are the 5-6 of you that have asked me going to tune in so I don't know what you guys are doing for the draft, but I think I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to see how it goes. And then maybe we'll try to do the same Friday and Saturday, but those are going to be a lot different. Saturday, especially much longer of a day and all the rest. You know how it is. It's going to be chaos. But all weekend, I'm going to be keeping you up to date. And after all the picks, I'm going to keep you up to date. We'll break down that player. We'll talk about him. And then I will have, any kind of trade things that happen. I'll have everything I can possibly have. Make sure you're following me on any of these platforms down below. I get that information. But if you're looking for live videos, you want to know what's going down, hit that subscribe button down below. Oh, baby, I cannot wait for tomorrow. Me too, man. I hate it. That's why I only have that one day of mock draft. I only have one day of picking my guy because I'll change my opinion 37 times. So even today, it was because I was no, I'm going to go with Bijan, man. Let's go. But it's no, I do like Jalen. Well, it's whirlwind up there. So it was crazy, man. But hope you guys got something from the show today. Hope you enjoyed the mock drafts yesterday. Hope you enjoyed all of the position by position breakdowns we did the last couple weeks, doing all I could. The last few years have been awesome with you guys. And look, if we don't take Carter, I will be happy to not get a 5th year in a row because the pressure of it, I was saying to Chelsea earlier, I was dude, I don't like this. I feel like now if I pick him, are we not going to pick him or we are going to pick him? Now it's the pressure for me to pick the right person. And everyone's going to be mad at me. I don't like that, man. I don't like it. So just pick the best player available and let me be excited tomorrow. That's all I ask for. But the great part is we'll pick a 10, maybe a 30. So we're going to have a full night. We're going to have lots of fun to do there. So work for the first round. That is unfortunate to hear, my man. But look, if you have a chance, you can check out social media. I will be keeping everybody up to date with all of the things that are happening. You can always look on YouTube. There will be a video. You can see what happened. Whatever is on your mind, but I'll try to help you out as much as I can. Sorry to hear you. Obviously, work comes in and wants to jack things up. I started in advance, making sure nobody's trying to no work, no play, no nothing. It's okay. This is draft time, just like when the games are on. We do absolutely nothing but football. And I'm ready for that effing draft. I told them it's Christmas tomorrow. So everybody's ready. I hope you're ready. So let's rock and roll. And appreciate that, Jeff, doing my best to get out the best knowledge I possibly can. And I bring on, some other great content creators like my guy, Mike, that was in here earlier, had on Lord Brunson. And this year only had on a couple because this stupid effing Chromebook. I would have guests on like I started doing. This is how this thing started a few years ago. Had on Mark McMillan, the ex-Eagle. That's how it began. And it's then it just kept crapping on me. And I just, but I try to at least give you good graphics, good information, teach people about the cap. And you've seen the media. You've seen so many different people finally learning about the cap. That's all I've ever wanted, for people to stop. There's no cap. Yes, there is. Just understand it. So we're getting that information out there. And hey, the more we build, the more they'll come, right? So that's all I keep trying to do, my man. Appreciate you. And the more that you guys hit that like button, subscribe, retweet this stuff, get the word out there, the more it grows and the more it helps me. So truly appreciate you. If you're watching this later, your comments, that actually helps as well. Helps out in the algorithm, puts me out into the Twitter universe, YouTube reverse, whatever the hell I'm drifting out to sea. But Appreciate you, dude. And look, I hope to hear from you tomorrow. Looking forward to hearing all of your thoughts on these picks. And look, maybe it's only one, maybe it's two, maybe we just get wild and take none and have 37 picks the next 5 years. I'm just kidding, but cannot wait to see who the pick is tomorrow. Let's ride. Let me know how you felt about this show down below if you're watching this later. But hey, man, hoping to hear from you during that break. Let's ride. Hopefully I can bring some excitement to you. Hopefully that draft can bring some excitement to you. Tiffany, appreciate you tuning in. My man, Dank Burrito, Twisted, Jeff, Drew, Sean, GP was in here. I know a million of you were in here. Luffy was in here in the beginning. We had Goldie, Mike, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. All of you that tuned in tonight, Wayer, all of you that I'm forgetting. Remember that I'm a High Plains drifter. So I've got about 600 NCAA draft prospects in my brain right now. So everything's just about crap up there. And I'm ready to finally see how it goes down. So tune in tomorrow to see how I feel about these things. Again, I think I'm going to try that live thing. We'll see how you want to just pop in. I might just do it. It's not going to be a show like this. Like, I'm just going to be chilling, man. I might just bring it downstairs and hang out on the couch and you guys can chill. Maybe I'll have to turn this off every now and again, but we'll hang out together. So maybe I'll give it a shot, but I'm not sure. I've had a couple people ask me a couple things, so maybe I'm not sure. Maybe I'll be going on other shows. I'm not exactly sure how tomorrow's going down, but stay tuned. Turn that notification bell on, and you'll know when I'm going live. Either way, I'll be live talking about the picks as soon as they're made, so be ready for that. Good picks are coming tomorrow. Let's put it out in the air, ladies and gentlemen. But that was it. Jalen Carter at pick 10 for the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow. Let's go. But have yourselves a great rest of your night. Thank you again for tuning in, hitting that like button, all that great stuff you're doing to support the channel. But I'll see you tomorrow. Try to get some damn sleep because I know the excitement for Christmas, how it can make my heart feel like it's coming through my chest. So I might have to punch myself in the face to go to bed just so I can be ready for tomorrow. Maybe I'll make a little early day video just to get the excitement rolling. I don't know how it's going to go tomorrow, but I'm ready to rock and roll either way. Appreciate you guys getting it started. Let's effing go. But appreciate you all. Until next time, I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me. Put a little bit of good juju in there for the draft. Go Birds!